Hey everyone, it's Jamie from Cottontail Crossing and welcome in or welcome back to my channel. So we are standing at the entrance of my forest core mountain core island named Bramble, and this island is complete. So today we're going to be touring my rainy forest core island, and I am very excited to share it with you guys. I have loved creating this island and I think it's one of my favorites so far. There are definitely areas where you can tell I was a little less inspired, but overall I'm really happy with everything that I have created. And here is the map of Bramble. So you can see we've got two big lakes, and then we've got a mountain area kind of off to the right and behind resident services. I've got lots of little cuties, brown villagers. I think they all kind of have a nice color story, lots of brown, beige, neutral colors. And they really look cute and nice on my island. So let's get started with the tour. This is my entrance, and initially I had an incline here, but I ended up going with two ladders because I really needed inclines on other parts of my island. But I'm happy that I did because I really love this. I think the ladders give you a feeling of adventure and like you're starting off in a very rural foresty area, which is exactly how I hope you feel when you step onto Bramble Island. And that is why I kind of created this viewpoint right away at the beginning of the island, so you see the mountain there and you feel like you're on a hike or deep into the forest. So that's how I wanted you to feel, like right when you come off of the airport you are deep in the forest. And we'll head to the right first, and if you stay down and don't go up the mountain, you'll come over to Eric's lumber yard. And so I've got a little chainsaw for him, a little working station. He's busy growing trees and cutting trees down, making wood that everybody needs to survive on the forest, especially on these cold, rainy days. And I really liked making this for him. I think that a lumber yard always fits Eric's personality. He seems like he's very one with the forest, and like he would be a good lumberjack. And then over here is the peninsula. This is one of the areas where you can see that I just kind of lost inspiration, but I just kept it really simple and threw some items on there so that I could just move on and be done with the island. I really enjoyed the journey of creating it, but I always lose a little bit of steam at the end. So you'll also see that my beaches are pretty simple, and the beaches are decorated only at the front of the island. And now we're going to head up the mountain. Did one of these great double inclines that we all love. I think it just gives such a nice feeling of like climbing something. So if you come up here, we'll be kind of at the mountain pass is what I call this area. And then you've got a little ladder climbing spot over here. And it takes you to a viewpoint over the lake that's on the back of the island. And for this lake, I wanted to have a house that was floating on a dock. So that's the little Duck Weber's house there. It's supposed to be like a floating dock house. And then you've got another lake house in the back there. I like this view in the rain, even though you can't see everything perfectly clear. I think it looks really nice. And you can take another ladder down to this dock and do some fishing if you like. So I had fun creating this because it was kind of like a little hidden dock. The idea was to make you feel like you can only get to it by that little ladder climbing spot, and then just have another excuse to play with the ladders and create something fun there. So this is the other side of the mountain pass where it actually takes you and drops you down to the back of the island. And up here, I just wanted to keep my decorating fairly simple and very natural because, you know, way up on the top of the mountains, a lot of things don't grow anyways. But before we head to the back of the island, we will come over here so that we don't miss this. And this is Ikes Home. And Ike is a miner and a stonemason for the island. So I used some caves here and some mining carts to create the feel of a little mine. And then I tried to create like a little stone quarry area. Like I've seen a lot of mines on different people's islands, but I thought, oh, it might be fun to create an area where the villagers are harvesting stone. So that's the feeling that I tried to evoke there. And then this will also drop you down to the lake, and you can come over and actually walk up to those lake houses that we saw in the view. I really like this spot because it allowed me to incorporate the river mouth into the lake and have a little diagonal bridge moment. All of my river mouths are pretty simple on this island. I didn't feature them too much. And then you kind of just have a cute little foresty walk by the lake, and these two guys are living on the lake. I think it's who is it? I think it's Freckles and the eagle. I can't think of her name right now, but I changed the exterior of their homes, but none of the interiors on the island are decorated. And then here is how you access Weber's little floating dock house. I just think that, of course, a little duck would want to live on a floating dock on a lake, so he must be a happy little duck. And then back here, I tried to create like a little tackle and bait shop where you can come and get some bait, some worms, fishing poles, all the things that you might need to have a great day of fishing out on the lake. So that was my hope there. I wanted it to look pretty like rustic, kind of just like a little shack. Where you can just buy all the things for your fishing needs. And now if you walk this way and cross this bridge, you'll see how this area connects to the mountain that we started to come down earlier. So we're back up on the mountain pass, and you have another nice viewpoint of Weber's house and the lake that starts to turn into a little creek there. I think it looks like a really nice natural waterscaping there, and I'm really happy with how that turned out. And then before we head back down the mountain, we'll go over here, which is like a little hidden area. My idea for this was to make it feel like the watchtower over the forest. And so it creates a lookout down onto like a flower meadow, and you can see my cabin in the back there. And it looks kind of mysterious on this gloomy, rainy day. You don't get like a perfect view. But I think that's kind of fun because it kind of highlights the meadow in the foreground, and then you just get a hint of that cabin back there, and it kind of makes you wonder like, oh, what's back there deep in the forest? So again, I really like the rainy, moody vibe. It just kind of changes the story and the feeling on the island. So we'll cross back over this bridge here, and we've got a little villager house deep in the forest here. And she's a little forest witch. So we've got a little cauldron, everything she needs for some green witching, her herbs, her mushrooms, a little workspace where she keeps all of her stuff. And yeah, so that was my inspiration for this little house, is a forest witch. And then we'll be in that meadow that we just saw from the viewpoint. And probably my favorite thing in here is this little snail model. I don't know why, but I'm just absolutely obsessed with the snail model. I wish I would have put more around my island. And yeah, so here's this little area. And then we've got my house as a log cabin. It's decorated pretty simple, but I'm really happy with the customization and just how it's kind of buried back here behind the trees. And of course, if you know me, you know I did not get around to decorating the interior. I never do. I always say that I'm going to, but it never happens, and I guess it is what it is. So now we're going to start looping back around to the left side of the island, and there really are like a lot of ways to get around on this island. You don't have to tour it in a certain way, but I'm trying to do it in a way that makes sense, but there's lots of ways that you can cut through. So here's a secret beach. This is also just a very simple beach decor, just natural. And then we've got Cole's house up here on this little cliff side. And now we're gonna start dropping into what I call like the mountain town area. So this area is meant to feel a little bit more civilized, and it's where you have your shopping and things. And this is the spot off to the left of resident services. So when we came in from the entrance viewpoint, we went to the right, and now we're going to go to the left. So we've got this little foresty roundabout which for some reason is like one of my favorite places on the island, is just this decor right in front of resident services. I just really like it. Every time I pass by, it makes me smile, and I'm really happy with how it turned out. And then over here we have a little rustic shopping area with Nook's Cranny. I think it looks nice. It's just meant to have like some tools and rustic things that you might need for surviving in the mountain. So yep, just a little shopping spot. And then if you continue to the left, this little transition area will take you over to the museum. I'm also really pleased with this little transition area. I don't know exactly what I love so much about it, but I just think it's really nice and simple, and it makes me happy. And here we are leading up to the museum area. I used lots of storefronts in this mountain town area to create the feeling of a town and the feeling of rustic, kind of alpine inspired buildings. So that's why I've got a lot of storefronts. I put the little hanging baskets on the lamp post because I always see flower hanging baskets in little kind of alpine towns. And I wanted it to just feel like an area where the villagers gather and come to town, but it's also still very like rustic and foresty. So we've got another lake here, and there's a few docks on the lake to allow you to access it. And then we've got this little storefront building area to create that town feel. And I really like how all the windows and lights look. On this rainy, moody day, it adds another nice element with all the things that light up. And back here, we've got a little community fire pit where everybody could come together and gather. And we have a couple villager houses. I put Timbra's house up there. She's a little sheep, and so, of course, sheep and mountain goats live up on the mountain. So she has a house with a little ladder, and I think it looks super cute. And then we've got another villager home over here. Also just very simply decorated. I've always wanted to use a little grave item, so I just put it there. And we'll walk back through the town. I love this log stakes path. It's so natural, but adds like so much detail with that log stake border. And then we'll head over this way. And I really like these little footprints that I used. I thought it was fun because I tried to use alternative pathing, like footprints and planks and rocks, like more than I used the 9-piece dirt path. That was kind of like one of my goals for this island, was to use a lot of different pathing to make it feel more natural and rural instead of using like a wide dirt path. So here's a viewpoint over the lake, and you can see the town on the other side. And we've got Able Sisters over here. I just created like a little colorful flower meadow with some flower colors that I didn't use anywhere on the rest of the island, and then like a little beehive area in front of Able Sisters, because I just thought like the reds and oranges and the beehives kind of matched the vibe of Able Sisters. And I didn't quite plan very well of how to incorporate Able Sisters into my build. So yeah. And then here is another little lake house with some baby ducks over there, and it wraps you back around to Nook's Cranny. So yeah, that is probably everything on my island. Oh, except for the beach campsite. So this is the only decorated beach here. I tried to make like a little glamping kind of feel. So you have this little hot tub on the beach and a little area to sit by the fire, and you've got all your camping stuff, and then the beach campsite by the dock here. So yeah, this is my little beach campsite. I also just didn't really plan very well for where the campground was going to go. And then I was like, oh, I'm kind of out of space, so I guess it's going on the beach. But I think it turned out all right. So anyways, now that is officially the last area on my island, and we are done with the tour. I really hope that you guys enjoyed this island. I really enjoyed creating it and sharing some of the journey with you guys. and I will be sharing how I transitioned this island to Christmas for the winter season. I think it's going to look awesome in the snow, and I'm really excited to do that. So yeah, don't forget to like and comment if you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!